Alright, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and if you guys didn't know, the Olympics is coming up in just a few short weeks in Tokyo, right? A lot of people are excited. It is the, I think, biggest sporting event in the world at this point. Pretty much all the countries around the world take place. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm not usually like a super patriotic person, right? Like, I'm not one of these people who like every day is like, you know, saluting the flag the moment I wake up, like the intro to American Dad or something like that. But there's something about the Olympics that just makes me bleed red, white, and blue. Like, there's something about watching 6'5" American super mutants dominate economically underprivileged countries every 4 years like fucking clockwork. Like when America will just be like, yeah, we'll take some of the NBA players that we decided we wanted, right? The ones that decided it was okay, they'll come play in their spare time, right? And we'll send them to play against the best players that other countries have to provide. And watch the Americans beat them by 40 every match. Dude, I'm just sitting there screaming like a summer school child, waiting for his break, right? Like, I'm so excited, man. Alright, I'm being a little ignorant. Let me get back on topic. Anyway, if you didn't know, one of America's sprinters, Sha'Carri Richardson, actually ended up getting hit with a 1-month ban for testing positive for a drug after winning at the US Olympic trials back in June. Sha'Carri was expected to be one of the biggest stars of the Tokyo Olympics. She's actually very talented. She's fucking fast, okay? I mean, there's no real other way to say this. I mean, it blows my mind how fast some people are, but watching Sha'Carri Richardson blow through a 100-meter event was going to be like watching The Flash, okay? Alright, maybe I'm overhyping a little bit, but Sha'Carri Richardson, very talented person, was expected to perform very well at the Tokyo Olympics, accepted a 1-month ban after testing positive for cannabis use after winning during the US Olympic trials back in June. Cannabis, if you do not know, is the official term for marijuana or weed. So the positive test was a pretty massive blow after Richardson had basically shown she was a serious gold medal contender. She won the 100-meter trial race in 10.86 seconds. That is mind-blowing to me because I feel like I'd probably need to take a break running 100 meters, but I will say beforehand, like, the rules, they're definitely set in stone, right? Like, you're not supposed to smoke weed or anything when you're participating in sports like this. But let me go ahead and lay down a little bit of backstory to you guys here. Sha'Carri Richardson had tragically lost her mother, which was a massive figure in her life. I think most of you can understand that, right? Like, you guys have a close parental figure, right? Whether it be your mother, your father, whatever, right? That person that you're just extremely close to, attached at the hip with, basically. Well, Sha'Carri lost that person in her mother, okay? And she dealt with that tragic loss in her life by smoking weed. And is, you know, drug use usually the best way to handle problems? Not usually at all. But is that the way that a lot of people handle shit? Absolutely. I mean, you look at the drunk dad who 3 times a week goes to Buffalo Wild Wings and acts a complete fucking moron because he hates his life. You think he's not using drug use with those beers that he's guzzling down to help fix problems and patch holes in his life? But I digress. So that was kind of the backstory behind this, and she ended up getting hit with a 1-month ban, and now her participation at the Tokyo Olympics is kind of up in the air. But let's continue anyway. Like I tweeted yesterday, I'm human. We are human. I want to be as transparent as possible with you guys, whether it's good, whether it's bad, she said, but there will never be a steroid attached to the name Sha'Carri Richardson. The charge and what the situation was marijuana. USADA said that her ban was reduced to 1 month because she had used cannabis out of competition and it was unrelated to sport performance. She also successfully completed a counseling program regarding to her use of the drug. The ban could leave Richardson the fastest American woman this year with a time of 10.72 seconds. Cleared a race in the 4x100 meter relay at the Olympics in the first week of August if she is one of 2 athletes selected by USA Track and Field on top of the first 4 trials finishers. Sportswear maker Nike, which sponsors Richardson, said that it would stand by her. Quote, "We appreciate Sha'Carri's honesty and accountability and will continue to support her through this time," it said in a statement. Now let me explain to you why this is all completely fucking ridiculous, okay? So the point of, I guess, these quote-unquote drug rules or whatever in the Olympics and in the US Olympic Committee and whatnot is to prevent people from doping. If you don't know what doping is, it's essentially taking steroids. So let's say you're like a weightlifter, you know, you're going for the world record in weightlifting. You pump a bunch of steroids into your body to build a fuck ton of muscle, right? Next thing you know, you're out here breaking records. Obviously, that's cheating. You used drugs to cheat. You beat the game by fucking cheating, okay? That's wrong. I can understand why that's not acceptable. In case you guys didn't know, marijuana is not just miraculously making people faster or building muscle out of nowhere. So I'm not seeing why it's even being treated in the same universe as doping. If anything, I would think weed would be completely disregarded, considering the fact that most people, when they smoke weed, just prefer to chill out, maybe eat a little bit, right? It gives no competitive edge. Like, yeah, of course she didn't use it to sport, like for her sport performance. It was unrelated to the fucking athletics. She would be a complete moron to try and smoke a 5-gram honey backwood and think that that's going to make her run under 9 seconds, right? Like, that would be fucking idiotic to even assume that that would be possible. Like, the fact that this is even a thing is ridiculous, okay? And the context in which she, quote-unquote, used this horrific drug, which, by the way, is fucking weed. They're making it out like she was shooting heroin or something into her arm, which isn't the case, you know. She was using this drug. Like, yeah, get over yourself here, buddy. She was going through a tragic, traumatizing loss in her life, and weed was helping her cope with the situation and deal with it at her own pace. But these motherfuckers are making it out like she was just out here cheating, breaking all kinds of crazy rules. Like, did she, in technicality, break the rules? Yeah, you can say that. But this is a fucking idiotic rule in the first place. Why is weed even still banned? Most major sports leagues have either completely deregulated cannabis use or are on the verge of doing so. I don't know if they're starting to realize this or not, but most people don't give a fuck about marijuana use anymore. Like, half of the states in the US have free recreational use of weed. You can smoke that shit like there's no tomorrow, and the government can't do a goddamn thing about it. Well, I guess they could federally, but the federal government even doesn't give a fuck about it. They don't even enforce it, really. Public opinion on weed has never been more in favor of it. The weed industry is exploding. Like, it's so fucking stupid that this is even a problem, right? So what you're saying is someone who has a God-given talent, right? Who is to represent their country on the highest level with said talent and was going to do so on a very legitimate basis, like literally was a gold medal contender out the gate. But now has that possibility maybe taken from them unless they race in a completely different race now, if they're selected by the committee, because they smoked a fucking blunt. Like, come on, man. You cannot tell me that this is justice in any way. There have been athletes who have been legitimately doping and fucking cheating in the Olympics since the dawn of time, right? If I remember correctly, the Russians literally had gotten banned from like an entire part of the Olympics because they were cheating so often, but an American puffs a fucking blunt, right? And next thing you know, they can't race. Like, this is so fucking stupid. Now, the good thing is thankfully people like Nike, who is one of her sponsors, are kind of standing behind her, and it seems like the public is also kind of standing behind her. The public reception that I've seen, at least, you know, other athletes, fans, things like that, have widely been in favor of her. And when it comes down to it, the World Anti-Doping Agency kind of proves that their ban on cannabis is fucking idiotic in the first place, and let me explain to you why. It's banned by the WADA, the World Anti-Doping Agency, weed is, but if they can prove that smoking it or using it is unrelated to the performance, then the 3-month suspension can be placed instead of a potential 2 or 4 year suspension. And then on top of that, if you do some sort of drug-related program with the country you're from, it can be knocked down to 1 month. So in an Olympic period where, you know, it's 2 to 4 years depending on winter or summer games, you're getting to this point where you can get a 1-month suspension for weed use instead of a 4-year ban for actual doping. And you're telling me that this is even worth them fucking policing? You give out a 1-month ban if they go through a little class that says, hey, weed's not good for you, bro. What's the point in even policing that? Like, you literally provide no punishment to them at that point, except for saying, hey, you smoked weed. Like, it's fucking idiotic. I don't know, man. All I gotta say about this is fucking dumb. This needs to be overturned, I think, and in the future, they should just get rid of these stupid cannabis bans in sports. Using it does not provide any real advantage that I can think of on the field or on the court anywhere, really. I mean, I think if it did, maybe Snoop Dogg would be the greatest fucking athlete of all time, but I mean, I don't know. With that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like. Subscribe if you're brand new around here on the channel. Follow me over on Twitter and Twitch, @sub2Optimus. Make sure to check out Shop Opti down below. And until my next video, this is Optimus, well, thinking this is stupid, and signing out.